Joseph Parker, Team Parker, register the first, I feel, clean knockout victory in about 4 years. It was in 2016 when he took out that Solomon Hamonu in 4 rounds. But since then, all his other stoppages have either been a bit scrappy or had some controversy with the Dimitrenko, with the Alexander Flores, was it? This is the first time in a while we've seen Parker just crack someone on the chin. They're done, and that's all she has written. So go Team Parker, I guess. And many congratulations. Parker, who I haven't seen fight in quite a while, I'm reminded of those snappy punches. This guy has a lot of speed for quite a thickly built heavyweight. Shawndell Winters, because of his slighter frame, being 39, a former cruiserweight, I don't think Parker felt he presented any kind of real threat. So we saw Parker getting a bit closer earlier. He usually likes to keep his distance, to circle, to use his footwork and use a bit of a snaking jab before he unveils that repertoire of his. And this guy does have a bit of a repertoire. There are layers to Joseph Parker. There is still untapped potential in the Kiwi, who many people believe is just too nice and doesn't have that competitive fire. But he managed to start finding that right hand. It cracked Shawndell Winters on the top of the head, round 4, round 5, put him down, and then the shot that he did to finish him off in the 5th was very nicely done. He gave himself a bit of space, and then boom, he threw the right hand on the counter, it cracked good, and the follow-up was quite pretty. Now really, had Parker have done years ago what he should have and got rid of Kevin Barry, we would be looking at a different fighter now. We saw in flashes little bits of his different textures and layers as a fighter, the different things he can do. Had he got with a Sugar Hill or a Freddie Roach, we would have that more complete, more kind of, if you will, coherent fighter who would probably have been a little bit more successful than he has been as of late. Now, at the end, he spoke about either Dillian Whyte or Derek Chisora. Both would be good fights. I don't think the Chisora fight is an option because Chisora and I believe Usyk is locked in for later this year. That will be an interesting heavyweight fight. So that just leaves Dillian Whyte in a fight I think he really needs. He really needs to try and erase one of his losses, but it would be really unfair at this stage on Dillian Whyte if he had to rematch Joseph Parker, who is always going to be a threat, who I feel is a better fighter. But because he goes to sleep, because of the confused tactics, probably just because he's with Kevin Barry and they haven't really made sense of his style yet, I think he shot himself in the foot in that fight and didn't start with the onslaught early enough that would have otherwise got Dillian Whyte out of there instead of being saved by the bell. Dillian Whyte, though he's paid his dues, though he's apparently cleared himself of any affiliations with drugs, he finds himself in a position where he can't really get at the top 3 boys at the moment because they're all kind of entangled. Maybe he can get a shot at AJ, but is that going to happen before AJ fights Fury? Probably not. So maybe, just maybe, a rematch with Joseph Parker would make sense in the interim because it would make money still and it would be an exciting fight. And if Dillian Whyte is just as gritty and as up for fighting anybody as he says, then maybe he would just agree to it. For me, I don't really see where else Parker can go. Again, he needs to try and get back at some of the people who have beaten him. For you, who do you feel Parker should fight next if he can't get at Dillian Whyte?